Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me for today's video. If you can't already tell by the title, today we're going to be going over all of the books that I plan to read in May. So, if you have not been here before, my name is Kendall, and this is of course my YouTube channel where I literally talk about my favorite thing on this earth, which is books. And sometimes cats when my cat wants to make an entrance. I'm gonna go ahead and warn you, if I'm looking at my phone at any point during this video, it is because there are a lot of things happening in May, and I just want to make sure that I include them all in this video and don't leave anything out, because most of the time I do end up leaving out one or two things, and I'm tired of doing that. So we're trying to get better about it, and having my phone on me helps. Okay, so I'm gonna get some books out of the way, and then at the very end I'll talk about books that I'm reading for readathons or for buddy reads and things like that. But some of the books that I'm going to mention first are going to be books that I've just picked out this month that are calling to me, that I think I want to read, and we're just going to go ahead and dive right in, okay? So I have been on a journey of trying to read Riley Sager's books. I'm very excited for his new one that is going to come out, and I just want to try and get as much of his backlist read as possible. I have now read 3 of his books, I believe. Yes, I've read The Last Time I Lied, Home Before Dark, and Lock Every Door. So the next one I'm picking up is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager, and this one sounds really good, and the thing that catches my eye is that Alex Michaelides is somebody who blurbed this, and I really loved The Silent Patient. It was one of my favorite books of last year, and I also really enjoyed The Maidens by him. So Alex Michaelides can't steer me wrong, you know? So I'm hoping that this book is gonna live up to the hype. I know this one has kind of been iffy in the book community. Some people really either love it or some people really hate it. So I'm curious to see where I fall in the line of love and hate. But from what I've heard, which it's probably a spoiler, but somebody has said that this reminds them of another book. I'm not going to say because I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it kind of gives something away, and so I'm a little sad that that kind of element is kind of spoiled for me, but hopefully I can still enjoy this book. So we're following our main character, Casey. She is this big time actress, and she's just trying to get away from all of the paparazzi and all of the publicity that comes with the kind of position and career that she has. So she goes to Vermont to this lake house to get away from it all, and there she sees a house across the lake. She has a pair of binoculars, so she starts to spy on this really powerful couple. She spies on them. Their names are Tom and Catherine. Tom is this big tech guru. I don't really know what he does exactly, but Catherine is a model, so she's drop dead gorgeous, and Casey just spends her time watching them, which sounds really weird. So one day, Casey ends up saving Catherine from drowning, and her and Catherine start up this friendship, and they become really close really fast. And then all of a sudden, Catherine goes missing, and from what Catherine has told Casey, Casey believes that Tom and Catherine's marriage isn't really as perfect as people may think it is, and so she thinks that Tom has something to do with Catherine's disappearance. And so I'm really excited to get into this, see what it's all about. It sounds like a really good premise and like something that I would like, so fingers crossed that Riley Sager knocks it out of the park again with me. I think I have mentioned this probably way too many times, but I am really getting into some horror books, and I'm actually really loving them and really enjoying them, so I'm just gonna roll with it. And so another one that I want to pick up this month is The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. I have yet to read a T. Kingfisher book, but I think she writes books that are also very controversial, like either people really love them or really just don't like them, but some people feel iffy about them. So I'm hoping that The Twisted Ones kind of like solidifies if I'm going to continue reading books by her or not. The synopsis of it sounds really good, and again, like something I would like, because we're dealing with kind of a house, and anything that's haunted or takes place inside a house in a horror movie or book, I'm automatically interested. So we'll see. So our main character in this book is named Maas, and Maas's grandmother passes away and she is left to clean up her grandma's house. And she goes in and her grandma has garbage everywhere. She's a hoarder, she collects everything, and there's just stuff everywhere. So Maas is already concerned because of that. But then she finds a journal from her grandpa, and her grandpa has written so many entries, and she's, you know, discovering that his mind is kind of not all there when she's reading these journal entries from him. But then while Maas, you know, is out in this house, out in the woods, out doing all of this stuff, she starts to see things and find things happening to her that her grandfather has said that he encountered in his journal. And so she's going to have to face these and see what is real and what's not real. And it just, again, sounds like a really good premise. I think I read the first page because sometimes I like to read the first pages of books and see if they draw me in. And this one definitely did. So I'm really excited to get to this one and just, again, relish in these horror books that I am absolutely loving. I feel like a lot of people are going to be happy to see that I'm picking up this book. I have been told for years that I need to read this, and I've had it for a while on my shelves, so I'm very excited to get to it, and that is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. This one, I think, is going to destroy me a little bit. It, I know, has a big storyline of dealing with relationships with sisters, and that's kind of like a touchy subject for me, so I'm excited to see how this one affects me or what I take out of this book. But again, I've just had so many friends who love this one from Kristen Hanna, and I have yet to read a book by her, so this month is going to be the month. So this book takes place during the World War II time period. I am also not a very big fan of historical fiction, so I'm excited to see how I like this one. But you're following two sisters who are taking their own paths and kind of figuring out who they are in life, finding love, and just facing, you know, everyday hardships that we all do in life. And basically that's all that the synopsis gives you. So I'm assuming, since it's a very chunky book, that there's going to be more to it than just that. But I'm really excited to get into it and see if it destroys me as much as it has destroyed other people, you know? Again, we are still trying to get back some more into manga and graphic novels here, so I am trying to pick up a graphic novel and a manga every single month to see if, you know, I'm going to either continue reading the series or, you know, anything like that. But I've already read the first one in this graphic novel series and absolutely loved it. I would actually call it my favorite graphic novel of all time. That's saying something, you guys. So I'm reading the second one now, and the author is working on the third, which I'm very excited for it to come out. And that is Lightfall by Tim, I think it's Probert. It might be Probert, but I'm not 100% sure. So I won't go too much into what this one is about because, of course, this might spoil some of what the first one is about. But basically, you have B, who in the first one is setting out on a journey to find her grandfather, who was just kind of left her a note and gone missing. And she's trying to find him because she just doesn't think that it feels right. And she runs into Cad, who is a Galdurian, and it is just, you know, a species that lives and lives on this world. But he is also looking for her grandfather for his own purpose, and so he sets out with B to try and find him, and they run into problems that they face together, and they're trying to learn how to work together, and, you know, it leads to a budding friendship. And then the next book is going to take place after, you know, obviously what happened in the first book. But I hope you guys can see it, but like the artwork in this is just seriously so stunning. It blows me away. Literally blows me away. Look at that. So I'm excited to see what Cad and B get up to in this one, and just, you know, it gives all the springtime vibes, so that's what I think I'm most excited for. And now moving on to the manga that I'm going to be reading this month. I'm going to be attempting to read The Witch Hat Atelier volumes 4 through 6. I, again, have read the first 3. I absolutely love these covers. I think they are gorgeous, and I absolutely love this world. I'm a very big fan of cozy fantasy mangas, and that's exactly how I would describe this, but I'm also a fan of just like funny adventure, you know, light-hearted mangas. So I think that's why I enjoy this one so much. But I do want to try and read all the ones that I already have, so that when I buy more and get more, I'll be close to, you know, catching up to where they are with releasing this series. And I'm basically doing the same thing with this next manga, and it is SpyxFamily volumes 2 and 3. Again, I just love the covers. Anya right here is my favorite. And this one is a really, really cool concept. If you've never read them, basically there is this spy who has to prove that he can have a family life. And so he meets this assassin, you know, they pretend to be married. And then this little girl who is a mind reader, Anya, they adopt her. So it's a really cool concept and really fun, and it's funny and kind of dark and humorous and just all the action. I absolutely love it. And again, this is one that I want to continue reading, and that way if I get through these, I can go buy the next one and catch up to where they are now. This book I actually picked out because my friend Jordan over at Bookish Gym has been raving about it, and I saw it out early in my store, and the cover and the pages are absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to try my hardest to get to this one this month. And that is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Rebecca Yarros has written multiple books. I think she's written, it says, I think over 15, but this will be the first one that I have read from her. But y'all, check out this freaking page, like the spine. It's sprayed edges, and then you have these dragons. Look how cool. And I think one of the things that me and Jordan love are dragons. I don't think we like voice that enough to people, but anything that has dragons in it, I'm automatically going to be invested. So that is what is calling me to this book. So we're following 20-year-old Violet in this book, and there are different squadrons that the people in this book go to live, and wherever they choose to live basically, you know, constitutes what they're going to do for the rest of their lives. And so the specific squadron that Violet wanted to live in dealt with books and histories and just living a quiet life. But her mother, who is a very tough woman, has decided that Violet is going to go live in the squadron of dragon riders. Violet is a very small and very brittle girl, so she is seen as weak, and dragons in this book typically do not bond with weak humans. They are just not very, they're just not likely to survive in this world. But a lot of people also are out for Violet because of who her mother is, including this man or boy, this 20-year-old. I don't know how old he is yet, but his name is Xaden, and he is like the best dragon rider in this squadron. So Violet's gonna have to prove herself to everyone, and there are things happening, and of course there are secrets being hidden from them. And I think the thing that I think is really cool in this book is that it takes place in a college, so it's going to give off those dark academia vibes as well. Just listen to this last line, or these last few lines, sorry. It says, friends, enemies, lovers, everyone at Basgiath War College has an agenda, because once you enter, there are only two ways out: graduate or die. Enough said. Literally enough said. The next book on my TBR is from my favorite young adult author ever, and she has a new book coming out in June, so I obviously have to read this one in May. It's not connected. The one she's releasing is a sequel to a previous book that she wrote, but the one that I'm going to be reading is not connected at all, but it is a story that I want to read. It also interests me so much because my friend Hope over at Hope on the Coast also read it and literally loved it, and I'm the one that recommended her the very first book and told her she had to read it, like she had no choice, and she absolutely loved it. So I feel like our views on these books are going to be very similar. And that is Small Favors by Erin A. Craig. I feel like I've put this one on so many TBRs and just have not gotten to it, but you guys, School's officially over. All I have to do is work this summer, and the boys will probably be gone for a good bit of the summer, out of town and stuff, so I'll just be chilling at their house sitting, pet sitting, and reading. And I just have to show you guys the inside of this book because it is one of the most gorgeous books I've ever seen. So first off, your spine. Look at this. Look how pretty. And then you open it up and look at the inside. Gorgeous. So we're following Ellery, who lives in this town called Amity. There's not much to do here. It's surrounded by forest, and she just has to do basically what, you know, a sister's job is if you're the oldest sister. Take care of your siblings, do work around the house, you know, all of that good stuff. But her twin, who is named Samuel, he gets to roam around and do whatever he wants. And it's just not fair. So in Amity Falls, there are these creatures that the ancestors that used to live in Amity Falls had to fight off in the woods that surround this town. So you are told, you know, to stay away from the woods, obviously. But people in the town go out to fetch supplies, and they end up not coming back and just missing. And so things start to, you know, suspense starts to build, panic starts to arise, and things are just not going like they normally do here. And let me read you this part of the synopsis because it just sounds so well done with how she wrote it, and it's just going to explain everything. It says, strange activities begin to plague the town, and as the seasons change, it's clear that something is terribly wrong. The creatures are real, and they're offering to fulfill the residents' deepest desires, however grand, for just a small favor. These seemingly trifling demands, however, hide sinister intentions. Soon, Ellery finds herself in a race against time to stop Amity Falls, her family, and the boy she loves from going up in flames. Erin A. Craig can do no wrong in my eyes, so I'm just saying, I'm predicting a 5-star read. Okay, so that is the end of the TBR that I have basically chosen for myself in a way, and you'll see what I mean by that. Now I'm going to get into a book club pick, some buddy reads, and some readathon things happening. So most of you know, because I've ranted about it nonstop on here and on my Instagram, that I am a member of Liv's Patreon and her book club within the Patreon, which is called Tea Time Society. And the book for May hasn't technically been chosen yet, but according to the poll, which has been up since the 20th of April, I'm pretty sure I know which one is going to win out just based on the votes, but she'll confirm that later on. But I'm going to go ahead and say that I know which one is going to win. This one is at 51%, whereas the second one is at 36%, so I have a feeling that this one is going to win out, and I'm not mad about it at all because I already went out and purchased it. Again, I own all 3 books that she has put out. Because our tastes are so similar, I feel like I'm going to love every book club pick that she, you know, has. And the one that's winning so far is Happy Place by Emily Henry. So excited, and so happy. I have been waiting for this book. I read Book Lovers. I cannot remember. I feel like I read it this month, but maybe I read it last month. Who knows? I read it within the past few months, but I loved it. Still love Emily Henry, and I have read all 3 of her romance books that are out, so you know I had to run and get the 4th, and this one just sounds really good. I've heard nothing but good things about it. My friend Jordan and my friend Rachel both have read it and loved it, so I have no doubts that I will too. So I've mentioned this book before in my anticipated reads video and went over what it's going to be about, but we're following Harriet and Wynne, who were this amazing couple, and they just seemed like, you know, 2 halves of a whole come together, and they were really happy in their relationship, but they have broken up, and they've been broken up for 5 months, and they still haven't told their friends about it. And so their friends invite them on this vacation to get away, and they decide they're still not going to tell their friends, and they're just going to pretend to be the happy couple that everybody knows and play along on this vacation one last time. And from what I've heard, this goes back in the past, and you get views of what their relationship has grown into and what it is now. And you know, they know that after this trip they will be separated and they will be going their own separate ways, and It just sounds so good. It sounds like a friends to lovers, but also like a second chance romance going on. So I'm excited to see everything that goes on in this book. Another buddy read that I've been doing since like the beginning of the year has been reading through the Throne of Glass series with my friends Elizabeth over at Ponytails and Paperbacks, and Olivia, of course, from Liv's Library. And so the next books are up. And I got to Heir of Fire. I was supposed to read Heir of Fire in March, but I ended up not finishing it until I got into April. And I don't even know if I started it until April. So I got a little bit behind. So I was going to read 2 books in April, but it never happened. There was just so much going on. But now that school's done, I think I'm going to be able to get to the next 2 this month. And that way I'm back on schedule come June. So since I did not read, you know, another book last month, and I only read Heir of Fire in the month of April, I will be picking up the Assassin's Blade, which is I think it's 4 novellas that take place in here. Oh, I'm sorry, 5 novellas, and they're kind of like a prequel for what has been going on, and we're getting to see more into Selena's life of like what happened before she knew the people that she has met, and before she's kind of gotten into all of the things that she's gotten into. It's really hard to talk about these books because once you've talked about Throne of Glass, you can't really go into details about what the other books are about because it is a series and you don't want to spoil it for anybody. So after I finish the Assassin's Blade, I will be picking up Queen of Shadows, which this is the 4th book in the series. I'm very excited about this one. I've heard that I get to see more of a certain character that I like in this book, and I just have a feeling that I'm really going to enjoy this one because of that certain character, so I'm very excited to get into it. Heir of Fire left off where my brain was just kind of exploding, and so I'm excited to see how this one picks it up. You know, Heir of Fire completely felt like a different book from Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, so I'm excited to see if that continues to be the theme in Queen of Shadows, but I'm just getting through the series kind of faster than I thought, and I'm only reading 1 a month, but I'm just savoring them and loving every moment of it. Okay, so next up, my friend Jordan has a book club called A Court of Fables. And she posted that, you know, she had people pick the book club pick this time, which I thought was really cool and fun. And people were really torn between 2 books. And so she decided, you know what? Forget choosing. We're reading both. And I'm here for it. So the first one I don't have on me, but you guys will see. It's just going to carry over from my April TBR basically. So I'm not going to go into details about what this one is about, but it is Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. Really excited to get to this one. I'm probably going to borrow it from Olivia afterwards. I did end up canceling my Kindle Unlimited subscription to try and save money. I've been trying to use my library a little bit more and just, you know, I'm a college student. And your girl can't be spending all this extra. So I'm probably gonna you know, take it from there. But I have heard that this is like a Court of Thorns and Roses with vampires meets the Hunger Games. So what else could I possibly want from it? I'm just really excited. So many people have read this book and absolutely loved it, and I can't wait to finally get my hands on it and read it. So I will be patiently waiting for it. The other one that she has chosen for her book club, I cannot wait for either, and it is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. I bought Divine Rivals earlier this year, and it's also by Rebecca Ross, and I just have yet to read a Rebecca Ross book, but I own 3, so I don't know what is wrong with me. But this one has been calling my name for years, and I'm just really excited to get into it and read it and get to discuss it with her book club. So we're following Jack, who took off from where he lived to become a bard, but he has to go back because he's being summoned by this clan leader, Adara, and all these girls are going missing, and she believes that only Jack is going to be the one, like, able to find them, and so it's up to him. We love a hero story. So there have been known to be spirits that kind of go around on this island, and they do mess with the people that live there. You know, they control like elements, or they, you know, mess with people's heads, and they've never gone as far to kidnap or hurt girls on this island, and it's kind of taken it a little too far. But they're hoping that since he's a bard, or hoping to be a bard, that he can kind of help with his music. So Jack and Adira have not gotten along since they were children, so I'm thinking it's an enemies to lovers. But they are having to work together to, you know, get these spirits to release these girls and to stop taking other girls. But then all of a sudden, this other clan, who has been enemies of the clan that they're in, opens up communication with them, and they actually may have something to help out Jack and Adira. But again, we have some secrets coming out, some things that Adira and Jack haven't known that go on. So I'm guessing that people who were training them to the point where they are today did not tell them. And so they're going to have to go on this journey together, and it's a little darker than they anticipated. So I feel like this is going to be a good one. And I will have Jordan's channel and her Discord link down below so that you guys can go check that out and see when the sprint dates and the discussion dates for those books will be. And last but not least, I'm also going to show you the books that I'm reading for Bookathon, which I am hosting with my friends Keisha and Hope. Keisha hosts this every year, twice a year, and so me and Hope are joining her this year to help out with it, and it'll be the first week of May. Again, I will have all the information listed down below, including the Discord link and the girls' other announcement videos. But I have already announced what I'm going to be reading, so to wrap this wrap this up, I'm not going to go into what these books are about, but if you do want to know more about them, you can go back and check out my Bookathon announcement video, and I went more into detail what these books are about. So one of the prompts is to read a book with a camp or an amusement park, and I picked The Circus of Stolen Dreams by Lorelei Savaryn, I think is how you say your name. But circus, amusement park, they're the same thing to me. Another one is to read a book that has something that scares you, and I actually switched mine to Deep and Dark and Dangerous by Mary Downing Hahn. I know this one deals with a drowning, and this one deals with water and open water, and that stuff scares me, so I'm gonna do a reread of this just because I haven't read it in so long, and I just want to get back in those creepy vibes. And the last prompt is to read a book with a cat on the cover. I'm reading Nightbooks by J.A. White. I'm really excited about this one. And then we have officially like announced this kind of new. It's newer in the works. So the author Lindsay Currie of our buddy read, which is What Lives in the Woods, is going to be joining us on our live discussion of this book. She's going to take questions about her writing or anything that you want to ask her. It's going to be a fun time. I'm really excited. We have sprints planned twice for the week. We have photo prompts. We have book sleeves that are exclusive to Bookathon, and we also have cozy corners that are also exclusive to Bookathon. So there's a lot going on. It's going to be a week filled with spooky middle grade, and it's happening very soon. So make sure you check out all the information if you're interested in participating with us. It's going to be a good time. It's a lot of books. I know I do this to myself every month, and I still continue to do it. I don't regret it at all. It is what it is. The mood reader in me just cannot say no. But thank you guys so much for joining in and watching. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me. And I will see you guys in my next video.